Good evening. Good evening. Oh, he's here. Good evening. Okay, I'll just. Good evening, everybody. Hi, Mike. I'm going to add you. Hi. Good evening, everybody. Mike. I sent an invite. Okay, I think. Oh. Okay. Hello.
Hi, Cynthia. Hi,
Good.
everyone.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm
I don't know
great.
what's happening. I don't know what they are trying to do this evening.
There are a lot of complications on their end. Maybe it's because I've probably never gone live on that platform.
I think
In fact,
it's my first life too. Yeah,
yeah, I've
I
never. I
think
don't.
it's
I
my
rarely
first.
do the live stuff.
Say again.
I rarely do the live stuff.
Oh, how are you doing?
I'm great. How about you?
I'm fine, thank you. Good evening, everybody. Devella Brand, I can see you. Good evening. Becky, good evening. I can see you. How are you doing? How is everyone? Trust your day went well and trust you're enjoying your weekend. So, this evening, we're talking about Global Talent Visa, everything you need to know about Global Talent Visa. And with me here is an expert, Global Talent Visa expert. So, I would hand over to him and let him tell us everything we need to know about the global talent visa. I believe there are so many people here who they are like interested, they want to know what's involved, the application, the documents they need, if they are qualified. And if you have questions, please just drop your questions in the comment section. If you have something you want to ask, like maybe you're already on it, you want to learn, so you want to know something, just ask your questions, drop your questions in the comment section, and I will pick and ask him. So over to you, Mike.
Okay. Let me just quickly share this to others that are interested in joining from my network. And
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
point which might really be of interest to somebody. So basically, maybe I'll start a brief introduction. My name is Gwen Michael, and I'm a cloud computing expert. Specifically, I work as a cloud engineer for consulting company in the United Kingdom, and I've had more than 8 years of experience working in the IT industry. I'm originally from Africa. Let me not put a label to the country so people will be like, oh no, I'm not going to talk to him or I'm not going to work with him based on his country. But basically, I've been working around the tech industry for, like I said, over 8 years plus, and I have extensive experience working across different projects around cloud computing and different development related initiatives. And as a result of that, I just got to hear about the UK Global Talent Visa sometime a couple of years back, and because I was doing my stuff, I was able now to just gather the documentation and submit for the visa. But the Global Talent Visa, by the way, before going further, the first thing I'll highlight is I'm not an immigration expert, right? I'm not an immigration expert. The advice which I'm giving here is based on my experience and that of others that I've worked with to get the UK Global Talent Visa. Probably someone needs more tailored expertise. They could probably seek an immigration consulting company or whatever. But the advice I'm giving is just based on our experience working with other people. But the Global Talent Visa basically is, I think, it's one of the best visas so far to relocate to the United Kingdom if you're outside the UK, or if you're in the UK and you need a more stable status for yourself and for your dependents, because it comes with a lot of benefits which a lot of people are seeking. I think the very first benefit is the UK Global Talent Visa is the fastest. Well, they'll say ideally they'll say it's the fastest route to indefinite leave to remain, depending on the if you're taken as the exceptional talent or the exceptional promise, right? If you take you as exceptional talent, you have 3 years before you can get your indefinite leave to remain, and if you are taken as exceptional promise, you get to get your indefinite leave to remain after 5 years. and the difference is just mainly based on your impact, right? When I'm always narrating the difference between promise and talent, I just give the example of there's this company, this Nigerian company. I'm guessing a lot of you know about Flutterwave. Flutterwave is a tech giant, and they've been able to build a brand that is or a service or a product that is used across many countries around Africa. So if you can vision or picture the CEO of Flutterwave trying to come to settle in the United Kingdom, if you should drop an application to the organization that endorses those in the field of technology, he can easily get an exceptional talent. Why? He has been recognized severally as a leader in technology, and that's one of the main things you must. The endorsing organizations have what they call the criteria which you must meet when submitting your documentation, right? Those criteria, they are actually divided into two. We have what we call the mandatory criteria, and then we have the optional criteria, and you must fit in those different criteria when making an application. And basically, the way it works is whether you're in digital technology, you're in arts and culture, or in research and academia, you must meet the mandatory criteria per your organization will be endorsing you, because there are different organizations that perform endorsement. If you're in digital technology, there's an organization for endorsing those in digital technology. If you're in arts and culture, there's an organization for those in arts and culture. If you're into research and academia, there's a different organization for those who are into research and academia, right? So based on either of those organizations, you must meet what we call the mandatory criteria. And the mandatory criteria basically is you must show that you've been recognized in the field. So if you say, for example, in the case of digital technology, you have expertise and I've been working with other people. If you say you are an expert or you're a leader in the field of digital technology, you must probably have received an award, right? There are many ways through which tech experts can receive awards. There are many communities which tech experts have. So you might have probably received two awards from some of those communities. And an award is not just maybe two, three people can easily get, right? It's when they say award is something that if they to look for, I always give the example, if they come to a country like Kenya and they're looking for the best experts in the field of digital technology, or if you say because they have different tech paths, right? We have cybersecurity, DevOps, machine learning, and so on. If they're to come to you, you're given location and ask, okay, can we pick the best cybersecurity guys? Will your name feature in that list? Have you been awarded? Do maybe people in your community know that this guy has been awarded as an expert in that field, right? So you must have received an award, which is like the mandatory criteria. And after the mandatory criteria, now you have what we call other optional criteria. And those optional criteria for per the different endorsing organizations, you must have, there are three of them in the field of technology, for example, there are three of them. One, you might have done some significant technical contributions in the field of research around technology. The other, you've performed some roles, some activities outside your immediate role. Maybe you've spoken in some some conferences, or you've done some open source contributions in some repositories or open source platforms. And they also have the third category is if you've been a founder or senior executive or maybe top management or employee of a product-led company. So those are some different metrics we can use to say, okay, you must have met these mandatory criteria and these optional criteria. Now, a lot of people come, they say, oh, I'm currently working as a cybersecurity expert. Am I eligible for the UK Global Talent Visa? It's not based on what you're working at the moment, right? You must meet all these different criteria listed by the different endorsing organizations. Now, I use tech a lot because I'm in the tech field, but it applies the same for arts and culture because if you submit, when we say arts and culture, there are a lot of fields, there are a lot of things, just like tech. Tech is not just maybe a developer or data scientist. There are a lot of fields, right? It's the same thing for arts and culture. You have different, maybe you're a photographer, maybe you're a makeup someone, you have your fashion brand, and you must show that you've been recognized. I'm guessing someone like Vicky James, I'm sure many people, since this is Nigerian community, I'm sure I can easily use Nigerians, which you easily relate with, right? So if someone like Vicky James is to profile herself as a leading talent in the field of fashion,
Passion.
it'll be very easy for her to get such an endorsement from the Arts Council. Why? She has a brand, She can show track of sales, because those are some key metrics that they also look at when you talk about your leadership. She can probably show that she's been able to maybe make over 100 million naira in sales, which is probably small, right? Because I think her last birthday, she made a birthday cake of 20 million. So if somebody's making a birthday cake of 20 million, you should know how much she should probably make in a month. So she can show sales that she's made probably more than 100 million in sales. She'll probably have a website, a commercial website, where you like a portfolio website where you can see all her fabric and all the like beyond her social media presence. If you're to put Vicky James on social, or maybe search engines, Google and some other, you can easily see
Harness.
many articles that I've written. Because one key thing which must stand is, if you say you've done something when you're submitting your application, it shouldn't just be you saying you've done it.
There should
We
be
have what we call third party references, right? The third party reference is different from your recommendation letters you get. The third party reference basically is someone who is senior in the industry, or if you say, for example, you've received an award from AMVC as a music producer, whatever. Someone from AMVC also saying that, oh, we know this guy, we give him this award. That's the third party verification. Sometimes someone sending a letter of recommendation will do the trick. Other times, just going on articles in the internet, right? You just punch your name, for example, if they punch Vicky James on Google, maybe some award or some organization had given her an award, she can easily, that third party is not her, it's not self-authored. You do not say, okay, I am the one who did this, but there are many articles. So irrespective of arts and council, irrespective of it being arts council or digital technology, then that of research and academia is a little bit more tricky, because it has to do with researchers. And one of the key ways through which you can show you've been a successful researcher is always by articles and publications, right? Articles and publications, journal articles, you've spoken in some conferences, you have a couple of citations and so on. So those are some like general information around the UK Global Talent Visa. I think that has been a great introduction. Maybe we can now move the conversation based on one or two questions which you can get from the audience.
Okay. Thank you so much. Based on everything he has said so far, please ask questions. If you have questions, ask your question. I saw I'm going back. Someone said, hi, it's a pleasure to have you here. Please, do you train people on cloud computing?
Oh, well, I do, but my next session is still upcoming I will start the next session in August. Sorry, in September. But beside the training, I actually have, if the person is interested, I have a whole lot of videos on my YouTube channel. I've covered almost all the cloud computing topics around Amazon Web Service, right? So you could probably go through my YouTube channel, and maybe you can leave a DM, or they can reach out to you, and we can have the conversation going on further from there.
And he's active on he's very active on TikTok. Maybe you just drop your TikTok your
And yeah,
page maybe in the comment section or something.
yeah, let me
So,
get it. Let me get it.
okay. So, guys, please ask your questions. If you have questions regarding Global Talent Visa, please ask everything. Ask now, and believe me, he's going to answer all your questions. If you're trying to apply or you've not started, you've been having doubts, you're not sure, just ask your questions now. Everything about Global Talent Visa, how to apply, if you are qualified, what you're into at the moment. So let's just open up and tell him what you're doing at the moment. That's if you want to apply for the Global Talent Visa. Tell him what you're doing at the moment, and I believe he would advise on what to do. So I'm just waiting for him to come back. I think he.
No, I'm here. I'm here. Sorry, I'm trying to get the.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm trying to
So
get the.
while I wait for. Okay, I've seen a question. As a beginner, how do you position yourself to get in the next 1 to 2 years? What do you do to get qualified?
Now,
Okay,
one. Yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
let me read it again. As a
yeah.
beginner, how do you position yourself to get it in the next 1 to 2 years? What do you do to get qualified?
Now, to answer that, a vast majority of people who have gotten the global talent visa, myself inclusive, we probably never we're probably not working for the UK global talent visa, right? Now, this is the idea behind it. The whole idea behind the UK global talent visa is the United Kingdom, they want tech experts to come build the digital economy, or they want high class experts in arts and culture, digital technology, research and academia to come build the UK, right? If you look at the trends, there have been a lot of people coming in on the known skill based route. You even see the government is even like shutting down some of the programs which people used to use to come in, right? Now, there are a lot of jobs available for highly skilled professionals, but on the contrary, those skilled professionals are not available. Someone asked about DevOps and cloud computing. For you to gain the necessary experience to occupy a cloud computing role, you need to invest more than 6 months, sometimes 6 months to a year, to get the proficiency to start interviewing, right? So calculate of the let's take 100 people come to the United Kingdom every year. A vast majority of them come in as students. When they come in as students, they do not have time to learn new skills. The bills are crazily waiting for them, right? So they just want to do anything they can easily do to start earning. And when they are doing anything they can easily do to start earning, they forget about the career paths that actually are like maybe in demand skill wise. So because of that shortage of experts that require these skills in demand, most of them, what the UK government is trying to do now is they want to indirectly outsource, or sorry, they indirectly want to get people come with the skills already. They don't want to rely on people here, kind of like they don't want to rely too much on people here, right? So now, what are they doing? Let's go to all the countries, get the best experts. They should come to our country and build our country. So to answer this question, if you are in the field of digital technology, there are things which you must do. If you're in arts and culture, there are things which you must do. If you're in research and academia, there are things which you must do. But all of those things, they do not happen in a year. I'll be quite frank with you. In fact, we've seen some rejection letters where the organization says we cannot endorse you because everything you did happened within a 12 month. In fact, they don't value any, they don't treat anything serious if your career is centered just within a year. So their endorsement period window is 3 years to 3 to 5 years, right? It's 3 to 5 years. So if you have been, come to think of it, you cannot just start the trade today and you become an exceptional person in that trade just today, right? In any ramification, if you're talking about arts and culture, let's say for example, someone is to learn fashion, this fashion design and so on. The person can definitely never become an expert fashion designer in a year, everything being equal, right? But the same thing for tech. You can never start doing tech today and you be in the next 2 weeks or in the next 6 months, you are on a TEDx event or you are a speaker in a global something. It's practically not possible.
It takes
So
time.
yeah, it takes time. So what I recommend people who want to go in long term, who literally have no credential, is just have at the back of your mind that there is a UK global talent visa, but your aim is not just that visa. Your aim is building your career, right? Building your career. There are key things. What will you do in your career to get you recognized, right? If
Okay.
you're working in a company, what will you do to make you recognized? What will you do to make you? If you're working, say for example, a fintech company, what would you do to make you employee of the year? If you're a fashion designer, what will you do to make Pulse Nigeria, or to make the Legit Nigeria, or to make the Guardian talk about your works? What will you do? So it means you should be able to identify the key things that you can do in your career that can get you a recommendation, right? Not just a recommendation, but an award. And for you to really be awarded, it won't come easy, especially from recognized institutions, right? You must have gone through the tests. And then aside that, we also have speaking engagements. If you're trying to build your career around arts and culture, digital technology, or whatever the case might be, you can engage now in speaking engagements. And mind you, when we talk about speaking engagements, the organizations that perform the endorsement, they do not regard online engagements. Like now, I can see that over 23 people in this live, but if we were to provide an evidence and say you have spoken in live with over 23 people, they don't value it, right? They are looking at events where you've been where you've been in a physical event, and then you've also been a speaker. You've been on the stage, and the event should have more than 100 people. So for you to have your career to the point where you can speak in front of 100 people to address something with respect to your career path, it's something that you should definitely have been doing for a long period of time. So people, the mistake which a lot of people have is, or which we've come across, is there are people who have been in the industry for more than 3 to 5 years, but they lack now this trail, because this visa, they do not interview you. You don't have any interaction with the physical. All you do is just submit documents, and it's based on the document that they judge
I
if you're
submit.
qualified or not, right? So, and those documents, you don't just submit one document, you submit up to 10 pieces of evidence, and each evidence document is 3 pages. So, as a beginner, what do you want to say? What do you want to write home about yourself?
In how many
In
pages?
10 pages, how you've been recognized, two, how you have to show two mandatory documents. That's 6 pages of how you've been recognized. You also want to show maybe how you've spoken in events. As a beginner in 1 year, I don't think you can perform that magic. Even if you're the biggest magician in Nigeria, maybe if you do it, they'll give you an award for that.
Okay, there's a question here. It said, I worked as a telecoms engineer back in Nigeria for about 12 years with one of the big telecoms company in Nigeria. I don't have an award or a third party recognition. Can I still apply? He has worked for 12 years with a telecoms as a telecoms engineer
Mm-hmm.
back home in Nigeria, but he doesn't have any award or third party recognition. Can he still apply?
Now, this one thing, and I think I even recently posted that in my TikTok, one of my TikTok carousels, right? Just the job title alone doesn't qualify you. I
Okay.
can say, for example, I've been a software developer for 6 to 10 years, right? It's good. You've been a developer. You can say you've been a telecom engineer. It's good. But the organizations have criteria which you must meet, right? The only thing is, some people, they are not conscious of some of the things they've done until they really now have detailed conversations. Because I've been working with some people, and until you discuss and you're like, okay, so what have you done? When you start asking too many questions, they'll be like, oh, I
Mm-hmm.
remember
I've
this
done.
event. I spoke in this event. I remember a company sent me for this. I spoke here. I remember I've done that. So some of those things come spontaneously, right? You might be on this life and you're not even aware of some of the things which you might have done over your career path. But what I would say is, just working as a telecom engineer alone
It's
won't
not enough.
necessarily qualify you. There are other criteria which you must meet. You must show what you've done outside your immediate role, and then you must also show you must also show that you've been an executive, a senior advisory, or an employee of a product-led company.
Okay. Thank you for that. And there's another question here. My name is Tokbe, an entrepreneur in Nigeria for over a decade as a producer of Kilishi to over 14 years with no award, but quite well known as a force in this line of business. Do I qualify? She has been into the business of Kilishi for over 14 years, and according to her, she's known, right? But
Yeah.
no award. So can she go for this?
Now, again, this is the thing, right? I'm still saying this to reiterate on the previous person's kind of, they're almost the same, right?
Yeah.
The whole of Nigeria might know her, that she's the best kilishi expert, right? If you land in Lagos, or you go to Ikeja, or you go to Ogun State, or you go to Ikorodu, everybody will know that she's the best kilishi expert, right?
Yeah.
The organization that performs the endorsement, they have key things which they want to see. Mind
Okay.
you, this is the best visa to get into the United Kingdom. It's not just Africans applying for it, right? We have experts from people live the United States, they're coming to the UK on this visa route. People live Europe, Germany, Spain, people live India, people live Australia, people live different countries. You don't want to fit into the economy, the United Kingdom economy. This is the easiest route. So they must show or they must meet some of these criteria which are clearly outlined, right? If she has, for example, she might be okay. This is a mistake that most people have, or this is like common mistake we see, right? She might be a cliche expert. She doesn't do sales online. All her sales are whatever, like maybe word of mouth, or maybe somebody knows her, so some brands know her, and so on. But she doesn't have a structured system. How do you prove that you've been able to make, maybe you've been able to make over 50 million or 100 million naira in sales? I can come to them and say I'm a killing. In fact, I can come to the, I'm not Nigerian, but I can come to this live and say I'm Nigerian. I can come to this live and say I'll be the best. In fact, I'm more than Vicky James in terms of fashion. I can come to this live and say I'm more than RMD in arts and movies, right? What shows that I'm not actually RMD or I'm not Vicky James is evidence.
Yeah.
And there is a jury for every application you make. There is a jury of experts that will review because they do not interview you. They give you the visa based on what is submitted.
Yeah.
And if what is submitted is not substantial, I don't think you can have a strong case, right? So what I recommend for her is she could maybe probably invest now in building a brand, like not just physical brand she might be known, but she can now start looking at building more a brand that has so much online presence and a force online. Because some of those things they really, really count in your application.
Okay. Okay. Thank.
Because in that case, whatever she'll be saying, they will say it is self-authored, and
Okay.
self-authored evidence is not valid.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that. Another question here. Can someone who is a doctor and a lecturer for 9 years apply? He's a doctor and he's a lecturer for 9 years. Can he apply?
Now, when you say doctor, you see like medical doctor.
I think so. I don't know. I think so. And Olive, um, when you say doctor, is it a medical doctor? I hope, I pray he's still here. I pray he's still here. Okay, there's a question here. Does the visa cover kids too? Yeah, I think so.
Possibility to relocate with everybody as dependents. Everybody, of course, they must meet the home office guidelines, right? You can bring your entire family as dependents.
Okay, so that
Yeah,
means it covers the family if you have a family.
covers the family. Yeah.
Okay.
And you
Oh,
don't need any job offer. You don't need any company to say they've employed you. You're not tied to any company. You can come to the UK anytime you want, leave anytime you want, work with anybody. You can even register your own company on arrival. You are not tied to is it gives you the highest liberty you can think of.
so when you come in, you said you are not tied to a company. That means you can actually apply or you can get your visa even without any employment letter from a company.
Nothing like that. You don't need any company to employ you.
Oh, really? So when you come, is it that you start looking for a job or you start your own thing?
As a matter of fact, I was able to get a high paying IT job in just 2 months, right? All my experience, I left it where I was coming from. And in 2 months, I could get a job here. So
Wow.
not just me, many other experts, many other UK global talent experts, because they are experts. They are not. It's not like it's not fake it till you make it, right? They're not coming as maybe in quote unquote fraud. They are coming in as experts. If you say you have been a developer that's been recognized, Microsoft developer, Amazon Web Service developer or something, if you're that qualified, once you get into the country, you can easily get a job.
Wow.
And that's what they want, right? So you don't need any company to hire you. You're not. It's not. It doesn't. It's not like I know there's another visa they call the skill worker or something, where after you work for, if your employer decides that they want to end your sponsorship, if you don't find a new sponsor, you'll be forced to leave. But with the UK Global Talent Visa, if your employer you're not satisfied, you can look for you can just end your contract. You can freelance. You can raise your own company. The only thing you're not allowed to do is sporting activities.
Okay.
Yeah, don't come in as a global talent and we are trying to, or we see you in Tottenham or we see you in Manchester trying to become the next Haaland.
Okay. The lady, she said, "How do I apply? How do we apply? I think I have a chance." So if someone, with all these things you've said, and I'm like, okay, I think I'm qualified for this. What's the next step?
Now, there are key things which you must take note of. I work with some consultants, and what we do basically is first we try to like what we do is we assess people's eligibility, right? That's the biggest nut to crack to even know if you're eligible. Many people have come, they're like, oh yeah, I've been a developer, I've done this, I've done that. But when we ask we don't ask questions based on maybe you are
What
just
to say?
trying. We are not. It's not like they're looking for money. They open the official guidelines and they're asking you questions based on the guidelines, right? If it's not, if this is not the visa where you can bend the rules. Is there are no bending rules here. If you're not worth it, you do not get it, right? So ideally, what happens is when we go through the eligibility discovery call, we have a conversation with whoever we're working with to at least have a detailed understanding of their background, right? And then now we can tick the boxes of like what they meet. After ticking those boxes, it's in fact without even coming to us, I'm just talking about the eligibility part, but without even coming to us, the ideal procedure is you must first gather all your evidences necessary for endorsement, right? And the complete application package for the Global Talent Visa endorsement, you must have 3 letters of recommendation from recognized, I repeat, recognized experts in your field. You must have a personal statement why you want to come to the United Kingdom and what value you
Are
bring
you?
to the United Kingdom,
Yeah.
right? You must have a personal, well, I talk about the personal statement. You must have a CV that has your 3 to 5 years of experience clearly stated. So if you've been in the industry for 3 years, you can show your 3 years experience. If you've been in the industry for 5 years, and by the way, the more the number of years, the more the expectations they have about you. If I come and say I've been in the industry for 10 years and you're submitting evidences, they'll be like, you can how come you say I've been in the industry for 10 years and
And your
you, you
evidence, you know.
you're just showing by this. So after submitting a personal statement, submitting a CV, submitting the 3 letters of recommendation, the most important is gathering the evidence documents. And that is where the hard work is. The evidence documents, they are individual 3-page documents to document your journey across the across the two criteria, in fact, 3 criteria that have been mentioned earlier, right? So you start by the documents, 2 documents show you have been recognized, and then now the remaining 4 for each of the different categories. So that's basically the main things. Once you gather all your application requirements, you then go to the UK Home Office website. You create an application on the website, and then based on your endorsement organization for tech, the organization that performs what we call the endorsement is Tech Nation. You go to UK Home Office website, you pay the endorsement fee, which is I think is 500 and something, between 500 and 600 pounds. After you pay that amount, then you have a month, if I'm not mistaken, you have a month to submit all those documents. That's why we say you gather the evidences first before
For
you start, you maybe make the payment on the platform, right? So after you've been able to gather all the documents, you now pay the endorsement. Once submitted, you have 3 to 8 weeks to wait for your endorsement decision. Now, most often in 3 weeks, you can get feedback. Some have been lucky to get feedback in a week, some in 2 weeks, some in 3 weeks. But I think if your decision is taking more than 4 weeks, that means the jury is looking for how to tell you they are, because they will give you very valid reasons why you're
Why
not
they are not
qualified.
yeah.
Yeah, so if you after those 3 to 8 weeks of wait time, you get an endorsement decision, and it can either be you are endorsed or you are not endorsed. And then if you're not endorsed, they will give you a pro forma detailing everything or every reason why you were not endorsed,
Well,
right? And that's why of them didn't apply this just one time. The vast majority of them, you see, they apply twice, some apply 3 times, some 4 times, right? That's why it's I think it's fair enough. Unlike maybe going to other embassies where they will just deny you the visa and give you generic reasons. But with these, once you're not endorsed, you're giving reasons why you were not endorsed. And then after getting all those reasons why you're not endorsed, if you feel like the decision was not properly made, you can appeal for a reconsideration. But in the reconsideration appeal, you do not submit new evidences, right? So your appeal is based on what you submitted. So if they give a decision saying that what you submitted, there was no third party verification, you can now not submit a new document with third party verification. All your review is based on what you submitted. So sometimes it's almost pointless doing a review.
so
Just gather money
yeah.
and renew a new application. So after endorsement now, you now pay the stage two fee to home office of, and then after paying that stage two to home office, you need to, if you're, I think either outside or within the UK, you still need to pay for your IHS and the number of, if you're endorsed as a promising talent, you have 5 years. So the number of years which you get as your entry or your e-visa is depending on the number of years which you pay on your IHS.
Oh,
Yeah, so if you pay for five, if you have money to pay the £1,032 for 5 years straight, you just pay, and for the next, they'll give you a 5 years entry. But if you don't have the funds, you can just pay for 1 year and you'll be renewing it. But we recommend people to just maybe pay a minimum of 3 years, because when you come and probably you're trying to interview with companies, if a company interviews you and asks what's your visa validity, and you see your visa is valid for the next 3 years, and after 3 years you can renew it extra 2 years, most companies will be more comfortable, given the fact that the UK has a more kind of like a comfortable work culture.
yeah. Thank you. So, does it is it the process now? Is it the same thing for? I think this you've been talking about people in maybe people outside the UK. Is it the same thing for people
It's
in
the same.
the
It's the
UK,
same. It's the same procedure.
or is the same thing?
Yeah, the only difference now is those within the UK, they'll not go through all the necessary biometrics, appointment, and all those things we need before they could probably get an e-visa with a stamp to travel.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay. Thank you so much. If you have questions, we're still taking questions. If you have questions, drop your questions. If you have questions. So, how long does it take from the first application to when you apply to Home Office? How long does this hold? Does it take up to 3 months?
I think it's subjective. I don't want to put a fixed date to it, but in my case and in the case of others we've worked with, I think in under 2 months, I was able to do everything, pay my flights and everything in under 2 months.
Wow.
So because if you submit and in 3 weeks, 3 weeks is still within a 1 month window, right? 3 weeks you get your endorsement. When you get the endorsement decision, if you get it today and you have the forms and everything to pay the same day for the stage two and everything, you go ahead to pay. And then when you pay, you go to you have to pick a calendar, do a schedule for biometric collection. That's if you're outside the UK. Do a schedule for biometric collection, and after you submit now your documents to VFS Global, and it's treated with priority. By the way, it's unlike if you submit your documents to VFS. Some people submit even visitor visas take longer time than global talent visa, because you're far, in fact, you're far valuable to the UK than a visitor coming to waste time. Yeah.
Yeah, I get. Yeah. So, do you like? Is this something you do? Like, do you charge for it? Like, if someone wants to like, um, wants you to pull them through, do you is there a fee for it, a consultation fee, or you have a fee? How does it work? Because I believe there are some people here that are watching and they're like, okay, I would like to reach out to you. Can you help me put my stuff together? So
Now, like I explained earlier, I work with a lot of
okay.
consultants as global talent endorsed, right? Those who've already received the endorsement and they've been helping others too. So we work with them and they offer those services. First, they have the eligibility discovery call where we discuss and we establish your eligibility. We don't recommend. It's painful to give £500 to the UK Home Office, right? So it's better you spend £80 to know your eligibility than to spend £500 and you're not sure if you're eligible or not. And even beside that, before your £500 is wasted, emotional stress and all
Mm,
the drama that comes with not being endorsed. So we recommend people going through the eligibility discovery call. We try to analyze your profile with you based on the guidelines, and after analyzing your profile based on the guidelines, we recommend next steps. For the next steps, basically we have to complete application support where we walk you through all the steps or all the documents. It's like a guided kind of like we hold your hands, right? We are not writing your story, but you write your story, and we are able now to review it based on our experience and some of the experiences of people who have been accepted and who have been rejected alike.
yeah. Okay. Please, can we get his contact? How can they reach you? Is it best on TikTok
I
or on?
think we could they could go to my TikTok because beyond just reaching out to me on TikTok, there's a lot of valuable information which I
Okay.
have on my TikTok
So,
handle.
if you're here, I didn't pin your TikTok handle. Let me go back. So, if you're here, you want to get in touch, you want to reach out to him. Like I said earlier, he's very active on TikTok. There are a whole lot of videos on TikTok you can actually learn a thing or two from. So, I'm going to pin his TikTok. I'm gonna. Okay, I've seen it. I'm gonna. How do I pin this? Okay, pin. Okay, that's his TikTok handle. Go follow him on TikTok. There are resources there and everything. So that's that. I don't know if you have questions. As I'm guessing that we are. There's no more question. I think. Can a master's research student whose visa will expire by September 2020 start the process now?
Well, I think if he's starting the process now, he should prioritize having journal articles, having peer reviews, and also having conferences where he's like speaking some of those conferences, right, with respect to his field, and maybe even getting some research grants and working with some top researchers in his field. Some of those things can serve him a lot when he's trying to start his application.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. If you have more questions or if you want to meet with him, you want to discuss with him, that's his TikTok handle pin. You can reach out to him on TikTok or on Instagram. Better on TikTok because I believe that's where he's really active. So thank you so much. I think we've said everything. We've touched everything.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to add?
Well, I think that maybe the only thing I'll probably add is subsequently we can have this engagement should in case your community maybe needs more guardians or new people
Yeah.
hop in and so on. So yeah, I think we can take the conversation going from there.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for the time and everything.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I'm really grateful. I appreciate
Okay.
this. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
All
Have
right.
a great evening then.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.